Here we are, back to casting the original. And the top right. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a well-known face you might know. It's soO. Oh yes. The guy who's supposed to play some StarCraft 2 soon. He's currently actually playing a lot of StarCraft Broodwar, it seems. He's very high ranked. This in the bottom right, ladies and gentlemen, is Ample. Oh, I'm very curious. I haven't seen this map before. We got 2 gases in the spawning location here. But they mine out on 3k. So this is very interesting. This is basically... Oh, this is quite interesting. Alright, so Ample is gonna get a good scout here. And we do see a drone moving out. Ample might wanna try to block this. Yeah, he's gonna throw down an engineering bay here. Wants to block the natural. That's a very interesting move. So you kind of want to deny the 3rd gas income for the Zerg as much as possible, as long as possible. But this was a super early scout, so this engineering bay has only like 50 HP. He's gonna get shut down quite easily. But remember, Zerg don't really have many drones at all in the start of the game, so whatever delay you can get done here, he's still chasing with 2 drones. This looks very powerful for Ample as a start of things. Of course, he does delay his own barracks with this, or command center. Comes down to whatever he wants to make. He's gonna throw down the command center because he sees the timing of the hatchery that is attempted to be taken here. Actually sees the hatchery, I guess, go down as well, so he knows. And he's gonna throw down a command center first here with this SCV. It's a little bit risky, only at 15 HP. If there would be a drone coming over, might be lights out for the SCV, but it's gonna stay alive, I guess, for now. It's gonna bring a second SCV, might just swap this off or repair it. Probably throw down a barracks in front here. And one is going to go ahead and go scout again. Go across the map here. So a lot of SCVs on the move for Ample here. It's going to throw down a second depot. We'll have to wait and see where that's going to be. If that's going to be with a wall here. Seems like that's the case. Oh, this might be a second barracks. No, it's going to be the depot. I mean, he needed the depot, but he had the money for another barracks if he wanted to. And there's the spawning pool coming in, and we only are working with 1 gas so far, so this is going to be the speed, of course, here for our Zerg player. It could be a super fast layout, and this map, like, you got 3 gases on 2 bases. What does it mean for Zerg? Well, basically, to go crazy Zerg, for example, you only need 2 gases. Oh, sorry, 3 gases. You only need these 2 bases. You can go Ultralisk immediately. Yeah, see that? Instantly clicking that layer, not going into that speed. Also, this is a huge booster on your Mutalisk harassment, isn't it? And we see the natural geyser only has 4k. This is very interesting. There's a lot of playing on this map with the geyser values. So the actual gas value you can mine from these locations is quite different. And your main base, it's basically... So basically you get the full value for 2 bases split through 3 geysers. So your income is gonna be higher, but they run out faster. But the total amount you mine is gonna be a 2 base geysers, basically. So you got 4k in the natural and you got 6k in the main, right? So that's 10k in total. And usually you'd have 5k on your main and natural geyser, so that would be also 10k in total. So the total value is the same, but of course the income boost is insane with this setup. And yeah, there's gonna be that spy. You'll probably throw down 2 more geysers very soon here. But we do see a bunch of marines pushing across the map here, and this needs to be addressed. There needs to be a sunken colony or some kind of links here to deal with these marines. 3 marines is not that many, so I guess you want to avoid the sunken, but 2 links are also not going to be enough to kill off 3 marines here. It's going to kill 1 drone. That's going to be nice. If you can kill 2 drones, it's already worth it. And yeah, there it goes. So pretty decent little move out here from Ample. Already looking very solid. Back at home, just finishing up his wall and going into Mac. Oh, that's interesting. It's the armory build. So he knows, of course, it's going into that Mutalisk, heavy Mutalisk commitment. He's seen the super fast layer timing. Oh, he needs to be careful though. Links coming in here, and they're quite fast. I think their speed did finish up indeed. And they're gonna counter harass the SCVs now. Remember, there was that one SCV that was hurt from before. That's already gone. Oh no, that's actually still alive here with 15 HP. But yeah, he killed 2 SCVs. He might catch another one here. Yeah, he's gonna get that one. Even 2 more. And that was the engine bay and the armory. That's 2 facilities he really needs to tech buildings he really needs, because he needs those Goliaths. It's the Goliath build, but without Goliaths you can't make it work. And there's gonna be that spire. We should see the 3rd gas. I'm quite puzzled why he doesn't take this extra gas yet. Because, like, he's taking another base, but he's just playing this like a normal regular map. And he's just saving that gas for later. So he does not bolster his income as of yet. But he could. He could have so much gas income, so much income. He could super saturate his minerals a little bit, get that income going, and go into those mass mutas. And we've seen actually that, I mean, he's scouted this, he knows it's a Goliath build. We have seen that a lot of Zergs are willingly just going into massive muta against the Goliaths. And yeah, you can play that. Like, it comes down to the actual engage, who's gonna win that fight, and the micro inside that. So it's a little bit of a skill-based engagement there in the end. Already, the first little bit of muta harassment is started, but only 2 mutas. Probably gonna be very tough for them to find any damage actually across the map here. You see the vultures getting caught though. It's gonna be a nice catch. Of course, you always want to wait for those to get their mines and lay out some mines. Unfortunately, the mine upgrade is not done yet. He needed to go into the Goliath range first. Is stacking up some Goliaths here. 5 Goliaths is gonna be fine enough against 5 mutas. And he wants to save that vulture if he can. But the muta has been on the chase. I guess it gave up. It's gonna move away. Oops. Wanted to check the thing here. Cup. By the way, for the cup going on, I guess we'll talk about this later in the break here. This map is gonna be done. We can talk about the setup. There's the vulture coming in again. It's gonna be spotted by the overlord, and the mutas are gonna intercept. Now, what is the next step here? Is it gonna be just more mutalisks? He now finally took that extra gas. It's gonna saturate that. Still going into the air upgrades. We do see mutas in the eggs in production. And he's just ramping up more and more mutalisks here. While he has his 3rd base, he could get a 4th gas right now, which is kind of interesting to see. And really push that income. But we do see the first group of Goliath here. The first control group is going to march across the map. Looks like a nice Congo line, still producing more and more Goliaths. We see nothing really coming behind this so far. There's something. There's a starport. So there's the first transition point. Might be for vessels. Could be anything really. I think it's going to be vessels. You really want those lurker detectors, you want those irradiates. It's just too powerful of a thing to have. And I think, honestly, it's gonna be difficult to catch all of these Goliaths here. If he spreads the Goliaths a little bit against the mutas, he should probably take the win. Of course, drones being pulled into the fight is gonna be nice here for the Zerg. They're gonna tank a little bit and catch some of those Goliaths, basically make the mutas survive a little bit longer there. The Goliaths also did split up, but maybe they moved a little bit too much in group. Of course, you kind of want to avoid that bouncing damage. But it seems like the mutalisk force is going to be strong enough here, even though he had to sacrifice a bunch of drones. And all of those shots wasted on the drones, they could have been on mutas. But that didn't work out, so now Ample has to pull back here, and soO is actually going to overpower for now. But more and more Goliaths coming in here. Only 3 though. It's only against 3 mutas, but we also see more and more mutas reinforcements. This is by a hair. This is really by a hair. It's such a very, very thin time in here. But it seems like the snowball is just a little bit too much. The defender's advantage here on the sides for soO, for the Zerg player, and he will hold that quite convincingly in the end there. Even though he lost a bunch of drones, it wasn't a terrible push out, but we did lose all of the army here, everything that we built up as the Terran, so he just needs to throw down more production, double down, and try to secure a 3rd base rather soon. You also want to kind of think about getting those tank upgrades in very soon, because you don't know when the Zerg is going to transition into something else, and we already see it right now. Hydraulic stand, evolution chamber, things are gonna move. Another hatchery coming online here, and that definitely is gonna be a tough call for the Goliaths. They're not very good against lurkers, they're not very good against ultralisks, so you kind of on a little bit of a timer here as the Terran player, but he's also starting his own transition. We do see the first few vessels coming out, and he is putting up a second armory, but I still want to see that third base, even though it's kind of hard to hold and you're pinned back because you're a little bit in a, how do you say, in a situation where you can't really do much in the matter of, like, if you move out, the mutas come in, but if the mutas don't come in and you don't take a third base, that's also kind of a contain, right? So it's a little bit weird, but we do see two groups of mutas moving out right now, while a fourth base on the way here for a Zerg player. This looks really good, actually, for the Zerg. He's also quite high in supply, so I really like the position here, and yeah, that in the end, catching also the last Goliaths, because that did not overpower. It was a really good play there. Really good defense by soO. And one sunken is not going to be enough. The mutas are going to have a little bit of a rough time to catch these vultures before they actually kill every drone here. And there's one more going into the north. It's going to scout the space. It's a little bit of a nice piece of information. We do see Hydra trying to block that vulture. It's going to work for a moment, but then it's going to be outrun here very soon, and two drones do still fall. But yeah, it was not really worth it, it feels like. The vultures, they're going to delay the production a little bit with that as well, which is okay, I guess. But you're kind of looking for something more, because you're already behind here as Ample. This could be nice, but I guess good reaction there. The drones are just going to fight this off, and in the end, another two only. We do see the big engagement though. He needs that vessel, he needs that irradiate. This vessel does not have enough energy. One does, it's gonna come back here into the fight, it's gonna throw down the irradiate in one of the mutas, but the mutas are not really stacked, so in the end, it doesn't really work out. But man, there's still so many Goliaths, there's still so many turrets, but things are starting to thin out here, and this could just be a little bit too much. We do have one more irradiate in a couple of seconds here ready, but the mutas again, they're not stacked, even though they are quite hurt. Oh, he put it on a hurt one. Are the Goliaths gonna be enough that are reinforcing everything? The production cycle is gone. There's nothing coming out right now, even though those mutas are super low. There's only a tank coming out, and that's gonna be full. He needed to cancel that one. That's a mistake, letting that one finish. So he transitioned a little bit too early into tanks, it seems. Meanwhile, he does have a few vultures who did do some damage across the map, but he's far away from turreting efficiently or anything that might actually give him a lead here. Even though he did kill most of the muta army at this point, he lost so much behind that. He lost most of his Goliaths, he lost a couple of tanks as well, he lost so much timing, so much staying power, and he lost the potential to take a third base. So now also he has to siege up here, and I think the next step for the Zerg is pretty clear. After he has his Hydras going, he should just go into those very, very pesky spellcaster units eventually. It's gonna put down a depot here on the back end to see if that wall ever gets broken, which is a neutral wall, of course. There's the overload migration, and we see more and more factories coming in. But he's not really replacing his turrets as of yet. He has them kind of scattered across. He's just relying on the science vessels. And we do see a bunch of Hydras now, but this is not a setup for the Terran that's really working out right now. There's no mines set up, there's no turrets in vicinity of this, even though you can't really build here. Could have, I guess. I mean, this is really far out there, so yeah, it's way too little Goliaths. Zerg, man, is gonna overpower this again. I think he really underestimated how many mutas soO would produce after that. After he lost basically all of them, right? It's such an inefficient move, but it just works out if you don't reproduce the anti-air. He killed basically all the anti-air, and I said there was no turrets being remade, even though there still is so many here at the natural. He could just go into the main. There's like a couple of Goliaths. We do see the vultures coming in, but there is the burrow on the drones here. The vulture is gonna actually survive. Wow, what a crazy move. And there's your third base, but that's gonna be I guess, yeah, not gonna land. The muta's already denying that over at the third here, and Terran can't even move out to save that location. He's frantically reproducing turrets, to get a defense line. But there's already Hydralisks pushing in again. Of course, the tanks are gonna make short work of them, and the Hydras are still disjointed, so that's not gonna work out. But this command center, man, he could use a queen. Oh, damn, he could use a queen for an infest. It's like an instant kill. Like, even if you don't use it to produce anything, right? If you have a queen and it's like half health around this percentage left, you can just get the queen in, and it is a definite kill on the, yeah, like you'll get the command center 100%. See, there is actually patches where you can build. I knew it. See, so yeah, you kind of want to push with a few turrets here, get some obstructions. But of course, are there going to be more mutas? I don't think so. There's the queen's nest. Like the mutas we saw, I think that's going to be all of them. These hydras are going to be pushed back for a little bit here. Where did the mutas go, by the way? Oh, there they are. So I don't think he's gonna make any more than these 7 right now. So actually these turrets not that great. But now he's afraid. Look at that. He's making so many turrets against 7 mutas, which are very badly hurt by this point. And again, he did land the command center, but mutas coming in and he's just showing off that threat, right? He's just showing off, hey man, I still have the mutas. You still have to deal with this. It's still gonna do damage where you really don't want it to happen. And look at that, he just camps the production now. Finally, we do have a little bit of extra income here, but this is mined out. This is such a necessary base for the Terran. He does kind of keep himself in the game. He needs only 2 mining bases to be operational. But this is gonna run out, and he will be on 1 base effectively mining. So he immediately needs to secure the 4th base. He tries to push into this kind of center position in the middle of the map, on the right side, but the Zerg has been nothing but amassing hydras. He's eclipsed the Terran in supply. He's starting to rotate most of his control groups. Even has a queen. Does he have more queens? Did he get Broodling? Yeah, he's gonna get Broodling. So he will set up even for a later stage of the game, but he will try a push right now. It's gonna move in with most of these hydras. We do have an overlord here to spot for the mines, so the mines actually don't really connect. There's so many hydras here right now. Goliath's frontline, are they going to be enough for these tanks? The tanks do have +3, so they will shred through those hydras. Whoa, man. Tanks against hydras are just unfair, it seems. But there's nothing really sitting here at the natural base. There's only SCVs to defend this. A vessel tries to come back. It's going to kill a bunch of these mutas here with an irradiate. But in the end, it's these hydras that have to be dealt with, and they'll kill all of the SCVs here on the natural base. That's so many SCVs that he desperately needs for the 4th base to saturate that one, because he needs that income back up. Oh man, those 2 mutas. Come on, Goliaths, turn around, shoot them. There's still more hydras. They might come from the back door here, from behind. They might just push into the natural again, try to kill that command center. He has the queen. He could move that with this group. I wonder where the queen is. There's an overlord move in. Is he parking them? Yeah, he's parking them here in the north, I guess. Yeah. I always want to see that move. Like, why don't you see this really? Because queens are super flimsy. They actually take a lot of damage and they don't have a lot of health. There's the 4th base. Ample is kind of keeping himself alive. He's pushing with the army into that new location, but he's really disjointed. Like, look at this destruction over here. There's nothing that's kind of covering for the reinforcements to reinforce this area. So all of the production needs to go to through a very open field. And there's a lot of potential for soO to just come in with a huge flank, huge arc, and try to bust the Terran there. And this group is already predestined here, sitting there to kind of intercept the reinforcements, while Zerg has been just going on more and more bases here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases at this point for our Zerg player. He's already sitting at 160 supply, while in Mac you're of course more efficient, so you don't have to be the superior supply. This is gonna be a turtle game. Like, the Terran needs to push 1 base at a time, basically, to try and do something. And the queens are just sitting here amassing their broodlings, so eventually they'll come in, they'll broodling all of the tanks, and then the hydras do swoop in and do deal with the rest. And there's already, yeah, they're starting to come online here. We got 4 already ready, so he's gonna hit Max here in a moment, so he wants to throw in There we go, clone in. 4 tanks are gonna die just like that. But it's a still very solid army, so this is a very inefficient approach from a Zerg player. He only pushed in with 4 queens, even though those do get free kills. Maybe waiting a little bit longer until he can actually kill every single tank would have been the better call. Ample did rotate most of his army into one location, so now he's trying to counter push. He's trying to kill the remainders of this Hydra force, but there's so many Hydralisks here in the north just waiting to pounce on this. And I don't feel good about these chances if the tanks are not sieged up. The one with the defense matrix is in the back here, not really standing strong. So many Hydras pushing from the top, and it's an expandable army for the Zerg. He doesn't really need this. He has 6 bases. He's about to have 7 bases. And there come the queens. I'm gonna Broodling the rest here. Whoa. Bye-bye tanks. Even that Goliath getting surrounded by the Broodling. For a second I was wondering if this is gonna be a drop, but I guess it might have been a misclick. The Broodlings are even moving in. How much HP do they have? 30. That's not much. So this base in the north is actually very, very exposed. He could just go onto that. But you can also jump on this army. There's nothing really saving this one. There's no front line for this. The tanks weren't sieged up. This could be finally the last nail in the coffin here for Terran Play Ample. It has to GG. And soO is actually going to take the lead there.